Hello, I'm Joel Hargis with the Florida Aviation Network. We are here at Sun and Fun 2025. This is the 51st show for Sun and Fun here in Lakeland, Florida. And we're live on the air at the Florida Aviation Network, and I have a couple ladies I want to introduce. This is Abbey and Lauren from JSFirm. And JSFirm is a very unique place to find a job.
That's right.
Would that be right, ladies?
That's the perfect way to say it.
Yeah, it's a great place to find a job if you're looking for a job in the aviation industry.
It's the #1 place to find a job in the aviation industry.
And so what's your role there?
Yeah, so my name's Abbey Hutter. I'm the executive director at JSFirm.com. I've been on the team for 10 years, last October. Came in as a marketing coordinator and have come up through the ranks, so to say, and now I'm the executive director and get to come to Sun and Fun every year for the last 11 years, minus COVID.
Right.
Yeah.
And Lauren?
So I'm Lauren Miller. I'm the marketing specialist with JSFirm. Today is actually my 7th year anniversary. So yeah, so a pretty big deal, but yeah, loved it ever since.
Well, that's great, and we're glad to have you because you guys actually perform a wonderful function for the aviation industry. Because when people that are new or haven't been around, they think of aviation industry as pilots.
Right.
And it's way, way, way more than pilots.
Yeah.
Right.
And not even just pilots, but even the general public thinks commercial aviation, right? And commercial aviation is like this much of the aviation industry.
That's true.
Yeah.
And so it's just a great field to work in. One, because it's interesting. Two, it pays pretty darn well, right?
It does.
And jobs are actually somewhat easy to find. I mean, there are jobs out there. I don't want to say it like that. Well, let me ask you that question. How easy are jobs to find?
Jobs right now, it's definitely a job seekers market. Job seekers have options. We work with companies, so it's free. Our website is free for job seekers. We charge companies to advertise, and companies are coming to us and they're like, Abbey, Lauren, what can I do to attract talent? What are our competitors doing, right? So we see companies that have crazy sign-on bonuses. The biggest one that comes to mind right now is for a helicopter EMS operator, $46,000 sign-on bonus. And then there's retention bonus after that to stay for 2 years.
EMS helicopters.
EMS helicopters, yeah.
No kidding.
$46,000 sign-on bonus. So those are the fun ones. So back to your question, there are so many opportunities out there, and a lot of people we see are really weighing and looking at like, wow, how much am I actually worth, right? And nobody's making lateral moves right now. If they're going to change jobs, it's either for more money, better location. And on our site, you can search and find those jobs and apply to them for free.
So that's the thing that, because I interviewed you ladies a year or two ago, maybe more than once. I don't remember. But what struck me as awesome for the job seeker is it doesn't cost anything.
Nothing.
Like nothing, zero, nada. You gain your revenue through people looking for people.
People looking for people. We work with the HR directors, owners, talent acquisition managers. They use our website as a resource for their recruiters to find people. So we have a searchable resume database. They'll go in. So job seekers, if they decide to create a membership, they don't have to. They can upload their resume and companies will find them and call them.
Name a handful of companies that work with you, pay you to find people that people might know.
Yeah, so you've probably heard of Air Methods, Piedmont, American Airlines, Silver Air Private Jets, Fly Exclusive,
Boeing,
Airbus. Literally, they're all on the website.
Okay, I've heard of some of those. And I think everybody has, right? And so this is not like a little niche thing, man. This is fully comprehensive.
Yeah.
And so I know particularly over the last 3 or 4 years, pilots were in big demand. Has that gone down a little bit?
Right now, right, the majors really sort of set that pace. They stop hiring and all the, the regionals are good. And then when the majors are hiring, all the regionals are suffering because they're taking their pilots.
They're taking their pilots.
So the pilots are up and down, but really I think maintenance.
Maintenance, yes.
Everybody's looking for mechanics right now and all levels, right? Entry level, IAs, we just talked to a company out on by the hangars today, Nationwide Aviation, Texas. He's like, I will hire someone on the spot. So if you're listening or you're here, go to Nationwide Aviation. He's looking for A&P mechanics and an IA for his flight school in Texas, outside of Dallas. He was like, if you talk to someone, bring them to me. He's like, if they're looking for a job, they want to go to Texas, bring them to me.
And I know there seem to be more and more A&P schools popping up.
Yes.
And I just don't think a lot of younger people in particular really understand the kind of income you can make, and like I say, so like, and where you want to work. I mean, you can kind of like throw the dart and
because aviation's everywhere. So you can go anywhere you want.
Literally in the world.
And I think where we can do better, not only as an industry, but even like at high schools that aren't super aviation related, like here on campus. I know Southwest Pennsylvania, our high schools really push HVAC, electrical, car mechanics, all great fields, right? No one's talking A&P mechanics, and you can go to school for that for 2 years, 36 months, whatever that is, graduate and come out making 70, 80 grand and only have about 30 or 40 in debt.
Right, to start.
Yeah, start, first day.
And then IAs make,
depending on what part of the country you're in, it can be anywhere from 80 to 120.
Sure.
Yeah.
One of my very best friends was an APIA, and he did pretty well. He owned his own business, and he has since sold that business, and he's a DAR.
Yeah.
He travels the world, and he makes, I don't know, strong six figures.
Yeah.
And a DAR is Designated Airworthiness Representative for the FAA.
Yeah.
Doesn't work for the FAA.
Right.
But he does what they can't do.
Yeah.
And he makes crazy money, and his lifestyle is incredible. So it's, I guess what I wanted to tell it, it's a stepping stone, right?
Sure.
AP, IA, DAR, much harder to get,
Yes.
much. I mean, you got to be really, really good and have a bunch of experience.
Yeah.
But my point is, it just doesn't stop.
Yeah, there's a career path.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the other, I interviewed a lady that works for United, and she is a chief mechanic for United out of Orlando.
Okay.
And her message is always women
Yeah.
in the APIA world.
Yeah.
Because people think, oh, that's a guy thing. Nah.
Yeah,
And she's done it like 30 years.
Yeah, we just exhibited last week at Women in Aviation in Denver. Oh my gosh, that show gets me excited. I mean, Sun and Fun gets me excited too, but Women in Aviation is just such a great networking event, and it's more than just women there, but seeing even the association, like the Maintenance Association for Women, and we are coming in strong, right? And there's no reason that a woman can't do the same things, right? And sometimes maybe a little better.
I wouldn't argue with you. But I that's just something I wanted to point out.
Yeah.
It's not a man thing. It's a anybody thing, and the jobs are certainly out there.
They're out there.
She's was an officer in Women in Aviation for a while.
Yeah.
I can't remember her name. That's too bad. Anyway, I wish I had somebody in my ear that would tell me. But anyway, so on the marketing side, Lauren, what do you do to market JSFirm?
So we partner with a lot of organizations, media outlets, schools. We have around 70 what we call JDN, so job distribution partners. So what that essentially is we take essentially our job board and we place it on their site, so they have a resource for their students or their members to come and look, and they have a platform to see all the open positions that are also available on JSFirm.
And your corporate partners love that.
Yes.
It's more exposure.
Bingo,
Absolutely.
bango.
I
Yeah,
mean,
so
it's more
on the
exposure.
sales side of the house, marketing is working on building those partnerships. Sun and Fun is one of those, right? EAA, AOPA, they're all partners. They like having that rich, ever-changing content on their website. Google loves that for them. And then when we're selling to customers, we can say, look, you're not just posting the job on JSFirm.com, you're posting it to the industry. We have 70 partners, so their jobs go everywhere. And we're like, look, you'll make a hire. It probably won't even come from somebody applying on JSFirm.com, because you might get an email and you send it to your friend who sends it to their son, who sends it to their buddy, and they show up and knock on a door and get a job.
Yep.
That's the power of JSFirm.
Well, the power of networking.
The word of mouth,
Yes.
especially in aviation, right?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
It's such a niche, really. I had another good question for you. So let's just ask it like this. So we've talked about pilots, we've talked about mechanics. Go through some of the other niche career things that you guys post and offer through your
so what we have, like we said, everyone knows, right? Aviation, pilots, mechanics, right? No brainer. We actually have 21 categories of aviation jobs on our website.
21 categories.
21. So of course avionics, of course line service, but administration, sales, executive, management, right? If you want to be a financial advisor for an aviation company, you find those jobs on our website. So
airport managers?
Airport managers.
Engineering.
Engineering's a huge category on our website. It's been getting bigger and bigger, year after year.
You do anything with ATC?
Well, we do. Yeah, well, not directly, but there are air traffic control jobs on our website.
Okay.
And the FAA uses our website pretty heavily too to advertise their positions.
Oh, okay.
So all those jobs are there. But yeah, the 21 categories, that's really what stops companies too when we're talking to them, because we're like, yeah, we want to post our pilot and mechanic jobs. And I'm like, well, what about all your other jobs? They're like, well, we'll just put those on Indeed. And we're like, but yeah, don't you want someone that's even an aviation enthusiast as your business development manager, right? If it's an aviation company, you're going to find that person on our website versus just another business developer on Indeed,
John Q. Public.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, somebody looking that has specific knowledge of aviation. That makes perfect sense. 21 categories.
21 categories.
I would love to see that list and just read that. I'd be curious. So engineering, when you say engineering is very popular, what aspect of engineering, because that's kind of a big umbrella.
There's mechanical, there's aerospace, structural,
software.
There's a lot of different kinds.
Okay, all right.
Pretty much all the engineerings. And then our most recent newer category is the UAV, UAS, right? Because that's up and coming. I mean, in every sector of the industry, everybody's talking about drones and unmanned systems. So we have that category on our website, and then those companies are also, right? It's the chicken or the egg, right? What comes first, the jobs or the companies or the job seekers? So that's a category for us also that's growing very quickly.
Yeah, that UAV is...
It's something.
The flying cars and, I know a little bit about that coming, and it's got some roadblocks just because of the training issue. It's hard to get a UAV license because there aren't any UAV trainers because nobody has a license. I mean, you almost got to be flying a Harrier or something to qualify.
The other part, a lot of the jobs that we see on our site are for construction industry, right? That they're flying drones to look at the stuff they're building, railroad, agriculture. It's really cool.
Yeah, I know a lot of power companies are always looking for drone pilots.
Even if you saw the night air show, right? The drone, that's all computer programming, right?
That's
but such a cool, and that's just stuff that I think the more that we can put that in front of, kids while they're younger to know that that's an opportunity,
Yeah, I mean,
otherwise, how do you know
10 years
about
ago,
it?
that really wasn't a job.
No, nope.
That didn't really exist.
Now really it could almost be a one-man show other than having someone help you carry all the drones out. Once you hit play, it's all programmed and it goes.
Right.
I like to tell people I'm with that there's lots of people out there with joysticks, like controlling it, and they're like, wait, really? And I'm like, no, not at all.
No. If you see that, you would have to be without a clue to think that, right?
Yes.
That's not how that works, right? That's funny. But yeah, I'm a drone pilot. I'm a licensed FAA drone pilot.
Nice.
I don't know what I'll ever do with that.
Is that the 107?
I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
I did it because when you're a regular pilot, if you got a private, the drone
just
thing,
a little bit more.
It literally took me a Labor Day weekend.
Wow, that's cool.
And you go in, you take a test, and they sign you off.
Yeah, you're good to go.
Actually, you don't even go in to take a test. You take it online.
Yeah.
You print off that you passed.
And you're good to go.
Well, you got to go into, you got to have an instructor. Part 107 is what that is. I got somebody in my ear that's way smarter than I am. But that is, but yeah, it was super easy is my point. And
because the private pilot is all the, the more complex stuff.
Right. See, if you're not a private pilot, you do got to learn airspace and you got to learn some of that stuff. Mm-hmm. But as if you want your drone ticket, it's talk about the easiest one to do. That's probably it.
Yeah.
And so, yes, jobs are up and coming from that. Any other up and coming categories that stick out? Something you got this year, last year that you didn't have 2 or 3 years ago?
Maybe our EMS, the flight nurses and paramedics.
Ah.
So again, right? You wouldn't think you would just go to Indeed to look for that, but no. If you want to fly, I know for us near Pittsburgh, it's Life Flight Network, right? So those paramedics and nurses can find those jobs on our website. And they're all over the country.
Those are good jobs.
They're good jobs.
Those
yeah.
are really good.
I wouldn't be
jobs.
able to do that, but they're good jobs.
Yeah. We have an EMS unit at my local airport up in Leesburg, Florida, and if I'm out and they're out by the helicopter or something, prepping or whatever, I go over and talk to them, and they love their job.
Yeah.
They love their job.
Yeah. Even speaking of Florida, we have mosquito control, right? So they'll hire those pilots. So that's a lot down here, the sprayers and stuff.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's a necessity here in Florida. And they, particularly down in like Southwest, in Fort Myers, Venice South.
The swamps and
there's lots of bugs.
Lots of bugs.
Fly around spraying mosquitoes. I always thought a great job would be a traffic pilot. Yeah, the 409 is back. Wouldn't that be fun?
Buzzing along
flying
floor.
around, but I'm sure there's those on there.
Yeah.
A lot of people, television stations and things have gone to drones and things like that to do that traffic reporting, but I always thought that would be the coolest job.
That would be cool.
Flying around.
I know the ones in Alaska too, with those with the tours there, and you go and land on a glacier, and you're just flying people around, seeing it for the first time, and it's just there's so many parts of aviation that.
The Alaska bush pilot.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that would be fun.
Cool.
That would be adventurous.
That would be fun.
So either of you fly?
Not with a license, but I have been lucky enough to fly in lots of different aircrafts. In Montana, I was in a 185 on floats.
Cool.
I got to fly with the Aeroshell. I'm not sure who their sponsor is now, but whatever used to be Aeroshell. I used to at Sun and Fun a couple years ago.
Titan is their sponsor.
Titan. So I got to fly with the Titan team, and then
that was fun.
That was amazing.
I got to fly with the Phillips team once.
Okay.
But just up formation flying like that.
Yeah, I mean,
particularly
it was
aerobatic formation.
Yeah, I was recording. I had a GoPro on my head, and I didn't realize they were going to do a loop-de-loop. And I was filming, and then I was like, "Oh, okay, so the ground's gone." And it was a number 2. It was so fun, and I just got that by chance and networking. I was actually at MBAA, and someone mentioned with Aspen Avionics, she was like, "I can't get my sales guys to give these rides away." And I was like, I was eating a hot dog, and I was like, I'm going to be at Sun and Fun. She's like, "You want to go for a ride?" She's like, "Be at the runway at 6 a.m. And I'm like, "Okay, I'll be there." And I showed up, and they put a parachute on me and strapped me in, and off we went.
That's an opportunity of a lifetime, because, going up and flying aerobatics is one thing. Formation aerobatics is another.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Probably
cool.
not a lot of listings for aerobatic show performer, though.
Yeah. No,
Probably not.
I don't think.
It's kind of
Yeah.
earned. Well, I think it's amazing that you provide this service. I mean, it's a business, but it's really a service, and it doesn't cost the job seeker nothing. Absolutely
completely free.
Nothing. A
Completely
little bit of
free.
time to dig through the
35,000 jobs.
35,000.
And they're worldwide
jobs.
too. So the bulk of our international jobs are domestic companies that are hiring internationally or overseas. But I think it's like around 7,000 of those jobs are overseas.
No
so
kidding.
people love those jobs
pick
too.
your country kind of thing.
You can go wherever you want. Yeah. Those jobs are all across the world, from the biggest, from your Airbus and your Boeings to your double M aviations, right? Biggest to, not that they're the smallest, but just runs the whole gamut. Yeah.
That's cool. Any advice to job seekers using your websites?
Sure.
Or, just like, give me because we're down to down to 1 minute. So.
Oh my gosh, okay. Well, actually, before the advice, what I do want to say, so the reason why we're here and why we partner with Sun and Fun is we help promote their career fair. So all week long, there's a career fair on campus. It's free to come to. And then the event is free. You just need your ticket to get into the show. There are 18 companies, so
they've got a tent right
there's
over
a tent, yeah. This year it's tucked back in the woods a little bit, so there's a little bit of shade. It is air conditioned, so if you're hot, come to the career fair. 18 companies, they have really fun giveaways too, and That's why we're here. So we help promote that to the companies, and then we send out the emails driving people to the show. So to see those companies.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, ladies, thanks for coming and sharing. I mean, gosh, if one person sees this and
I know, it could change someone's life.
it could change their life.
Yeah.
That's what's great about it.
No, thank you for having us. We enjoy Sun and Fun every year, and this is one of the funnest parts of the week.
Well, I'm glad you feel that way. I always enjoy visiting with you ladies.
Yeah.
Yes.
I am Joel Hargis with the Florida Aviation Network here at Sun and Fun 2025. Beautiful week. Beautiful week. Come out, see the airplanes, see all the goodies. Again, Joel Hargis. Stay with us. We'll have another show coming right up.